Islam, Dwayne Buffett. I, Ron Arrington, as your wife. It's June the 10th, 2019. I'm going to start off by reading the Holy Quran, Circle 7. It's approximately 6:20 a.m. approximately. It's June 10th, 2019. Islam. I'm going to read chapter 10. It says, Jesus spake on the unity of Allah and man to the Hindus. It says, Benares is the sacred city of the Brahms, and in Benares, Jesus taught. Udraka was his host. Udraka made a feast in honor of his guest, and many high-born Hindu priests and scribes were there. And Jesus said to them with much delight, Islam, I love you. Don't forget, drink a lot of water at work, money. Love you. And Jesus said to them with much delight, I speak to you concerning life, the brotherhood of life. The universal Allah is one, yet He is more than one. All things are one. By the sweet breath of Allah, all life is bound in one. So, if you touch a fiber of a living thing, you send a thrill from center to the outer bounds of life. And when you crush beneath your foot the meanest worm, you shake the throne of Allah and cause the sword of life to tremble in its sheath. The bird sings out its song for men, and men vibrate in unison to help it sing. The ant constructs its home, the bee its sheltering comb. The spider weaves her web, and flowers breathe to them a spirit in their sweet perfume that gives them strength to toil. Now, men and birds and bees and creeping things are deities made flesh. And how dare you kill anything? It is cruelty that makes the world ornery. When men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves, they surely will not kill, nor cause a thing that Allah has made to suffer pain. A lawyer said, I pray to Jesus, tell who is this Allah who speak about, where are his priests? Islam. As I said, read this. Someone hit the top of the ceiling, and it's amazing how the unclean spirits try to get sympathy so they can possess your mind. They're filthy, Dwayne Buffett. It is truly amazing how these abominations try to play off compassion, the spirit of compassion, and try to get sympathy so they can possess and rape. They are really filthy. And it's good that now we as Moorish Americans are embracing truth. We as divine souls, Hebrew Muslims, are embracing the spirit of truth through their extermination. And Jesus said, the Allah I speak about is everywhere. He cannot be compassed with walls, nor hedged about with bounds of any kind. Hold on, let me get some tissue. And I'm not saying that which hit the wall is an unclean spirit, but this was a thought I had. It's a thought I had. It is cruelty that makes the world ornery. When men have learned that when they harm a living thing, they harm themselves, they surely will not kill, nor cause a thing that Allah has made to suffer pain. A lawyer said, I pray to Jesus, tell who is this Allah you speak about? Where about his priests, his temples, and his shrine? And Jesus said, the Allah I speak about is everywhere. He cannot be compassed with walls, nor hedged about with bounds of any kind. All people worship Allah, the One, but all the people see Him not alike. This universal Allah is wisdom, will, and love. All men see not the triune Allah. One sees Him as Allah of might, another as Allah of thought, another as Allah of love. A man's idea is his God, and so a man unfolds his God as man unfolds. His God unfolds. Man's God today, tomorrow is not God. The nations of the earth see Allah from different points of view, and so He does not seem the same to everyone. Man names the part of Allah he sees, and this to him is all of Allah. And every nation sees a part of Allah, and every nation has a name for Allah. You Brahms call him Peri-Abram. In Egypt he is Thor, and Zeus is his name in Greece. Jehovah is his Hebrew name, but everywhere his is the causeless cause, the rootless root from which all things have grown. When men are afraid of Allah and take Him for a foe, they dress up other men in fancy garbs and call them priests, and charge them to restrain the wrath of Allah by prayers, and when they fall to win His favor by their prayers, to buy Him out with sacrifice of animals or birds. When man sees Allah as one with Him, as Father Allah, he needs no middleman, no priest to intercede. He goes straight up to Him and says, my Father God, Allah, and then he lays his hand in Allah's own hand. And Allah is well. And this is Allah. You are, each one, a priest, just for yourself, and sacrifice of blood Allah does not want. Just give your life in sacrificial service to the All of life, and Allah is pleased. When Jesus had thus said, He stood aside. The people were amazed, but strove among themselves. Some said, He is inspired by Holy Brahm, and others said, He is insane, and others said, He is obsessed. He speaks as devils speak. And Jesus tarried not. Among the guests was one, a tiller of the soil, a generous soul, a seeker after truth, who loved the words that Jesus spoke. And Jesus went with him and in his home abode. Okay, so that is chapter 10. Now I am about to read Surah 3, verse 21 of the Holy Quran. Section 21. Actually, excuse me, Surah 4. Surah 4. And this is section 1. It's called The Woman. I'm going to start off by reading the opening, the Fatiha. Okay. The Fatiha. The opening. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Requital. Thee do we serve, and thee do we beseech for help. Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom thou hast bestowed favors, not those upon whom wrath is brought down, nor those who go astray. Islam. Okay. Now I'm going to read Surah 4, The Woman. It says, Section 1. Duties of guardians to orphan wards. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. O people, keep your duty to your Lord, who created you from a single being and created its mate of the same kind, and spread from these too many men and women, and keep your duty to Allah, by whom you demand one of another your rights, and to the ties of relationship. Surely Allah is ever a watcher over you, And give to the orphans their property, and substitute not worthless things for their good ones, and devour not their property, adding to your own property. This is surely a great sin. And if you fear that you cannot do justice to orphans, marry such women as seem good to you, 2 or 3 or 4. But if you fear that you will not do justice, then marry only one, or that which your right hand possess. This is more proper than you may not do injustice. And give women their dowries as a free gift. But if they of themselves be pleased to give you a portion thereof, consume it with enjoyment and pleasure. And make not over your property, which Allah has made a means of support for you, to the weak of understanding. And maintain them out of it, and clothe them and give them a good education. Let me read that again. This is starting with verse 4. And give women their dowries as a free gift. But if they of themselves be pleased to give you a portion thereof, consume it with enjoyment and pleasure. And make not over your property, which Allah has made a means of support for you, to the weak of understanding, and maintain them out of it, and clothe them and give them a good education. And test the orphans until they reach the age of marriage. Then if you find in them maturity of intellect, make over to them their property, and consume it not extravagantly and hastily against their growing up. And whoever is rich, let him abstain, and whoever is poor, let him consume reasonably. And when you make over to them their property, call witness in their presence, and Allah is enough as a reckoner. For man is a share of what the parents and the near relatives leave, and for women a share of what the parents and the near relatives leave, whether it be little or much, an appointed share. And when relatives and the orphans and the near and the needy are present at the division, give them out of it, and speak to them kind words. And let those fear who, should they leave behind them weakly offspring, who fear on their account. So let them observe their duty to Allah, and let them speak right words. Those who swallow the property of the orphans unjustly, they swallow only fire into their bellies, and they will burn in blazing fire. Law of Inheritance, Section 2. Allah enjoins you concerning your children, for the male is the equal of the portion of 2 families. But if there be more than 2 females, 2/3 of what the decree leaves is theirs. And if there be one, for her is the half. And as for his parents, for each of them is the sixth of what he leaves, if he has a child. But if he has no child, and only his two parents inherit him, for his mother is the third. But if he has brothers, for his mother is the sixth. After payment of a bequest, he may have bequeathed or a debt. Your parents and your children, you know not which of them is the nearer to you in benefit. This is an ordinance from Allah. Allah is surely ever knowing, wise. And yours is half of what your wives leave, if they have no child. But if they have a child, your share is a fourth of what they leave after payment of any bequest they may have bequeathed or a debt. And theirs is the fourth of what you leave, if you have no child. But if you have a child, their share is the eighth of what you leave after payment of a bequest you may have bequeathed or a debt. And if a man or woman having no children leaves property to be inherited, and he or she has a brother or a sister, then for each of them is the sixth. But if they are more than that, they shall be sharers in the third after payment of a bequest that may have been bequeathed or a debt not inquiring others. This is an ordinance from Allah, and Allah is knowing, forbearing. These are Allah's limits, and whoever obeys Allah and his messenger, he will admit him to gardens wherein flow rivers, to abide in them, and this is the great achievement. And whoever disobeys Allah and his messenger and goes beyond his limits, he will make him enter fire to abide in it, and for him is an abasing chastisement. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Okay, Islam, it is once again June the 10th, 2019. Islam.